Hello everyone, JCYP here, and we're doing an easiest to hardest tier list for Dark Souls 2. Um, I don't really have any much else to say, so we're just gonna get right into it. Last Giant. He's not very easy, he's just the tutorial boss, so I would say he's actually very easy, honestly. But for people that start the game, he's probably easy or balanced. But for me, he's very easy. Now, whenever I first started the game, I didn't even get to fight him. But I did replay the game, so I did get to fight him after that. But he's very easy. He has some basic moves. I mean, he rips off his arm and gets longer range, but besides that, you just need to hit his feet, and whenever he's about to stomp, back up, go back in, slap him. On the foot again. Pursuer. He's an easy boss if you know how to easily cheese him. If you were to parry, you just have to parry him whenever he's in front of the ballista, go behind the ballista and shoot him. It does a lot of damage. But people that don't know how to do that, whenever I first played, he was a very hard boss. But now whenever I find him, he's just easy because I know what to do. But I prefer to fight bosses actually. So Rune Sentinels, whenever I first played, was a very hard boss. But they're more so balanced just because there are 3 of them, which for new players can be very annoying. Dragon Rider is another easy boss. But he would be, if you know how to cheese him, it's very easy, but some people don't know how to do it. I find Pursuer, though, to be harder than him. He's still an easy boss, though. He would be in the very easy for me, but, I prefer to fight him, without cheesing him. So I put him right here. Under Pursuer, because the Pursuer I find way harder than Dragon Rider. The only problem with Dragon Rider is the fact that he has broken hitboxes. Old Dragon Slayer. Getting to him is hard, but I'd say he's harder than Dragon Rider, but he's still an easy boss. Now we have the Flexile Sentry. It's probably going to be a good amount of balanced. Well, may probably mainly balanced once we get to the later bosses. The thing about this boss is that basically, if you're a passive person, it's going to be a hard fight because then water rises, you start rolling slower. I'd say he's harder than Dragon Rider and harder than Last Giant, but he's not harder than old Dragon Slayer for me. Because his attacks are super basic and easy to dodge if you just stay on his side with the clubs. These guys are another balanced type boss. There's 5 of them. For new players, it'd be hard. For this guy, probably be in balance. This guy, probably also in balanced. You, probably balanced as well. For some of these would be probably in the balance for new players, but for me, this one's just easy if you know to stay on one side of his body at all times, and then just go to his side and hit him. Basically, just stay on his club side, but don't go onto the other side, because the other side, find him on his side with the swords, is way harder. Lost Sinner is a balanced boss. I'd say he's probably, for me, he's kind of, yeah, I'd say he's probably harder than the Gargoyles. Just because for new players as well, he's pretty fast. And this game, also the fact that whenever you try to roll his thrust attack, it really just doesn't work. You have to block him. Because whenever I first played, all I did was use the shield technique. But now it's just easy. These guys are another very easy boss. I'd say they're more harder than Last Giant, though. Take that statement back. It's 3 of them. Obviously, whenever you kill one, though, it just summons a bunch of skeletons. The good part, though, is that all the skeletons are passive. If they weren't, it'd probably be, like, up here and balanced. Or probably hard. But for Executioner's Chariot, this guy, ever since I learned him, it's an easy boss. I find him, though, harder than all of you. Just because, like, whenever I first played, it was, like, freaking hard. I died to this man a lot. But now it's just pretty easy. Now, Covenant's Demon is another easy boss. I'd say he's way easier than Skeleton Lords and Last Giant, honestly. It's because all you need to do is stay to the side, and then whenever he's about to do an attack, like the jump, which you'll know, whenever he starts to bend his head down, he'll just do the jump attack, which is easy to dodge. All you need to do is back up. Mytha, the Baneful Queen. She's well, if you don't burn the thing, she's probably, like, balanced. She's definitely harder, though, than Pursuer. I want to move Pursuer down a bit, because I feel like this guy's a little harder than him. But I feel like these two are still easier than him. Smelter Demon's a balanced fight. Not a hard one, but he's balanced. I mean, for new players, for me, he was, like, he'd be up here for me. Because I died to that man at least 60 times. Now, these guys would also be up here. Or, well, no, they're just girls. Well, idiot. They're just magical armor. But they are, I'd have to say right here. For me, whenever I was in my new player stage, it would be up here, but nowadays it's just right here, balanced. Though it's still an easy fight, should be fair. You are, like, you're harder than these, because you have way more health. You can be a bit annoying. Sometimes you'll knock people into the hole of doom, but you'll at least you're still an easy boss. You're easier than Dragon Rider for me. Now, the Scorpioness. I don't know how to pronounce her name. For me, she's another easy boss. All you do is stay to her side. Easiest fight ever. I'd say she is probably harder than, like, you. But unlike you, you're a little harder. I mean, you have less health, yes. But you just have to stay to her side and game over. Especially if you know what you're doing. This guy is balanced. I put him in hard, but he's more so balanced than anything. The reason I would put him in hard is because it's little dogs, but if you have, like, something like Firestorm, they're all instantly dead. But I put him probably, like, I'd say he's still hard, like, he's harder than everyone here. I'm gonna move them up. I'm gonna move Smelter Demon up a bit, because I'd say he's harder than them as well. Now, Prowling is automatically going there. It does not matter. He has no health. It's just a bunch of enemies in a boss room. That's all it is. Nothing special. It's just like the Skelly Lords, except instead of it being a bunch of enemies, it's 3 special enemies, and then once you kill the 3 special enemies, it's a bunch of enemies. But with this, it's just a bunch of enemies. This one, well, you stay on the head. I would have to say it's balanced. Though I'd put him right behind Smelter Demon. Because Smelter Demon, there's some attacks I have problems dodging with Smelter Demon sometimes. Whenever I still have problems with him, but it's, like, not as bad as before, because I could never dodge him. Like, I can dodge them now, but it's like I still can probably get hit by them. Royal Rat Vanguard's an easy boss. I would say it's a little Like for new players, it'd probably be like balanced, just because it's basically find that different rat. But whenever it comes to this, I'd say he's better, like harder than Covenant's Demon and Prowling Magus and Congregation, but he ain't getting any higher because it's basically just find the right rat. Rotten is another balanced boss. I'd say he's, yeah, I'd probably have to say he's a little harder. Nah, I'll put him right there. Because, first of all you need to do is, like, whenever he does an attack, just roll to the side. But whenever he does his, like, slash attack, you should just, well, kind of just go backwards. These fellas. They're basically just regular Dragon Rider. Difference is they're later game, and there's two of them. But since you're going later game, they're a little bit easier. But since it's two, I'd say it's probably a little harder. But if you know that the Red Dragon Rider can knock him down, then it becomes a pretty easy fight. Looking Glass Knight is a balanced fight, especially because he can also just summon a guy on will. Still a hard fight though. Not hard, but balanced, whatever. Is it more harder than more harder than Rune Sentinels? I'd have to say so. I'd probably have to put him, like, past Duke's Dear Freya and Rotten. But it's not... Yeah, it's harder than Smelter Demon, honestly. But I don't think it's any harder. I think it just, like, is harder than Smelter Demon, but Royal Wrath Authority is harder than the Looking Glass Knight. This guy, for me, personally, is a hard boss. Does a lot of damage. He splits in two, then you have to focus on both. He's just a hard boss for me. Velostad is one of those easy bosses. His attacks are too basic. Like, I'd say he's maybe just... he's probably harder than these... I'd say he's harder than these three, but I don't think he's harder than anything else because his attacks are basic. I mean, whenever he goes in the second phase, though, he does quite a good bit of damage. So, he can be a little hard just because his damage amount, but besides that, I don't think he gets any harder. This boss fight is another very easy boss fight for me. I'd put it right probably after Last Giant, though, like after every one of these. Because it's still a very easy boss, but I don't think it'd get any higher. All you need to do is just hit its face whenever it's open, but not after it does an attack. You want to hit its face. Pretty easy. Guardian Dragon. It's an easy boss. I'd say it's easier than Iron King. Well, retract that statement. Because I forgot that this thing just flies around everywhere, just like, and it's annoying. It's like you have to get lucky. Like, it's either you get the one that flies around 100% of the time, or it's either you get the one that just stomps and doesn't do any other thing, which makes you lucky. Thronewatcher and Defender is one of those, like, hard bosses for me still. Just because of the lightning, and basically it's like kind of like double Velostad. You get it to half health, buffs with lightning, does a lot of damage. And they both do that. Except one has a ground attack that just does so much damage, which is annoying. Giant Lord's a balanced fight. I'd say he lands about, like, right here. Just because all you need to do is, like, circle between his leg. He does a back attack, just go between his legs, go in front of him, and then he'll miss, hit his leg. He does a front attack, go between his legs, go behind him, slap him in the leg. That's basically all the fight is. Now, if he does a stomp, just go to the other leg that he's not stomping with. It's a balanced fight, but it's not easy, I would say. Ancient Dragon is just hard in general. He's a Yeah, no, I'd say he's like harder than Throne Watcher and Defender, especially because he has a lot of health and does a lot of damage. But I know a cheese for him where basically all I do is you wait for him to do the one fire attack where it's basically shoots flame in front of him, not go up into air and then shoot flame down. Basically, you go in front of him, you wait for him to lift his head up, and then he'll do a fire attack in front of him. But then you just go for his front paw, his whichever front paw or front claw, whatever, and just attack it, and then go back. Vendrick is balanced. You just stay on the side without the sword or behind him. I'd say actually just stay on the side without the sword behind him. And it's a pretty balanced, but I would say it's probably maybe like easy tier actually, but it's going like in the top of easy tier. Nasandra. Balance. Nah, she's not really that balanced actually. She's probably like easy. I'd say she's easy, but she's like easy, like harder, a little harder than probably like Velstadt. But she's not that hard. The only thing that like makes her a little hard is the little orb things. You break those, then the fight just becomes easy. Nothing else. You also just want to like stay kind of behind her, and if she does like an explosion move, just back up whenever you see like glowing. Aldia is another easy fight. I'd say it's harder than probably like Velstadt as well, but easier than Nasandra. Well, actually, retract that statement. Harder than Nasandra, but still easier than Guardian Dragon. It's because the fact, I mean, sure, Guardian Dragon is just regular dragon, but if he just flies a lot, it's quite annoying. But I'd say it's harder than Nasandra because, like, all of his attacks are almost just, like, guaranteed. Well, not all of his attacks, but, like, it's the one attack where he sticks his tentacle in the ground, or tendril, and then a bunch of big ones come out. And that's what makes it a little hard. Well, harder than Nasandra. And those are, for me, that's kind of hard to dodge, but it's kind of easy. All you need to do is go to the side. I call them the Gank Squad. Gank Squad is, like, balanced. I'd say they're harder than probably, like, almost all of these. But you could, like, just run in a crevice. Yeah, I probably have to put them at, like, the top of balanced. Her. The Squalid Queen, Alana. She's balanced again. But I'd say she's, like, she's probably harder. Just because the damage she puts out. But actually not. I put her at the top. I might have to, like, change some of these, like, move these down. Like, I will change some of these. I just gotta think who's harder and what's not. And I'll do that in the meantime, afterwards. But I definitely have to move these down. Like, never mind. I just remembered these. They're not, like, that hard. And neither are you. Like, they're up a little bit. I say Ornstein, though, is way harder than probably, like, some of these. I'm moving you up a bit. Let's move some a bit. Well, your guys are just staying there. But besides that, we're going to have to move people a little bit. You're all staying in that one. I do not. We're not moving these or these because they deserve to stay in those spots. But these more balanced ones and easy ones are going to need moved a bit. Lost Sinner is going to stay where he is. I definitely say, though, the Guardian Dragon is harder than these. Is Aldia harder than these, though? Yes. Same. I'm moving them up. But Velstadt and, like, all of you can stay the same. because you guys are like pretty easy still. But Sin is another hard boss for me. He's harder than Throne Watcher and Defender, but I still think Ancient and Adian. What? Ancient Dragon's harder than Sin. Because the amount of health and damage he can output, while Sin's more so. He has a good amount of health, but your weapon, like, you hit him so many times, your weapon just starts to break a lot. For some reason, like, when you're fighting this boss, your weapon breaks very easily. I wonder it's just because, you know, lore-wise, he's made of, like, almost stone. So your weapon, when you hit him, it's just like you're hitting stone, basically. Which probably makes more sense. Blue Smelter Demon is obviously harder than regular Smelter Demon. I'd have to, like, put him after you, everyone here. Actually, he's probably at the top of Balanced. Yeah, top of Balanced. Fume Knight, though, is another hard boss for me. He's not very hard. But, like, he goes before Dark Lurker for me, because Dark Lurker I find to be too hard for some reason. Like, I wonder if it's just the fact that he splits in half and now there's two of them, which now you have to focus on both, and it's just like, bruh. Suralon, another hard boss, especially if you get grabbed, and I would say he's harder than Fume Knight, actually. Like, I have more trouble with, like, Suralon because of the stupid one move that he does where he jumps back and then just slides his sword across the ground just to slap you. And he's just like, it's like a mixture between, well, obviously just not really a mixture. He has the freaking Lost Sinner thing where he just he dodges a lot, okay? It's pretty annoying. Now, Ava is not as hard, I would say, as Sin or any of the... I'd say he's probably harder than Throne Watcher and Defender, but I don't think he gets anywhere higher than that. Like, mainly DLC bosses are probably going to be, like, landing in, like, the hard zone. But I don't think they would make it any higher. Now, these fellas... They're definitely, like... They're definitely, like, one of the harder bosses for me. I think the problem is, like, certain multi-bosses, ones with, like, a lot of health and do a lot of damage is annoying. This is basically the Gargoyle fight, but, like, harder, basically. Not this Gargoyle fight, but the one from Dark Souls 1. Burn Ivory King is, like, if you can get all 4 knights, he's still a hard boss, but he's still easy. Well, not easy, but he's still a hard boss. But if you got all 4 knights, it's like it's just like a GG right there. Once you get all 4 knights, it's already over. Like, I mean, sure, he has all the enemies of his own, all the knights of his own. It's annoying, but I'd say, like, since you get help for the fight, it makes the fight easy. But I don't think it would be any higher than that. Especially because if you die, you have to refight all of his enemies. Or all of his knights. I don't think any of them, though, would land in very hard. Like, I wouldn't say any of these are very hard yet. But, if anything, actually, I'd probably have to put Dark Lurker in very hard, never mind. It's the amount of damage he does, actually, for me. Like, he just does so much damage. He has a lot of health. I tried finding this guy on PlayStation with rapiers. Failed. I suffered. Because I was going to do like a rapier run and then kind of just suffered because of it. So I just like, oh, nope, I give up fighting you. This guy is probably the one I'm most afraid of for some reason. I don't know why. Like, I just don't like fighting him. But yeah, I think that's it for this video. So, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see everyone in the next video. Let me just stop recording.